welcome back to another Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. I'm Jon Schnepp. Sitting across from me is Chris Gore, founder of Film Threat. You've seen him on G4. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, today we are going to talk 1984's The Terminator. What a fantastic, incredible science fiction film. Chris, let's talk about The Terminator.
Well, first of all, I mean, this movie at the time was so ambitious. I mean, I love, you know, all the stuff with time. I love any movie with time travel.
Yes.
I think time travel is like a great concept, and the way that it's used in this movie is fantastic. And even like when they would show like sort of like the future visions of what the the apocalyptic version of Earth was like with all these Terminators was insane. What they haven't answered, and I hope that they answer in this future Terminator movies, why do you have to be naked to travel through time? I feel like that is like, the first thing is like, look, you're gonna be traveling through time, you just need to take off all your clothes.
Yeah, you'll arrive in the future completely buck naked.
Yeah, whenever I see like a naked man wandering around Hollywood, I'm either like, that's a Terminator from the future, or that's a werewolf that didn't plan.
Yes.
That's my first thought whenever I see naked people in Hollywood.
Well, you were not far off. This 1984 version was the second movie for Arnold Schwarzenegger to bust out in. He was in Conan the Barbarian, did a pretty good job as Conan. This is the movie that put him on the map as like what everybody kind of thought of him back then anyway. Is like, what's he gonna do? Play like some kind of weird, strange, lifeless robot that repeats phrases? And he did it so well.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think that Schwarzenegger definitely thrives in roles where he has fewer lines.
Yes.
Yeah, he's so great. He's so great in this.
Sorry. Speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, let's talk about Stan Winston's crazy endoskeleton armature. A lot of people forget, like back in 1984, we didn't have that many computer graphics. We had a couple of movies like Tron where it took like literally 25 minutes to render one frame. So he had a giant room this size rendering Tron. It was literally like a two years before that. So they didn't really have the option to have the Terminator robot be a CG creature, which now is just like a normal thing. Just make it 3D. So they actually built a gigantic life-size Terminator endoskeleton, as well as doing a bunch of stop motion. So this was kind of like in the tradition of the greats like Ray Harryhausen. They did all these stop motion sequences with a Terminator with rear screen projection. So you watch it now, some of those effects don't hold up as well as other films do, but still, it's one of the best action films as far as a science fiction time travel movie with unbeatable action. If you've never seen The Terminator, do yourself a favor. Even if you've seen Terminator 2, you gotta go back and see the very original The Terminator. Chris, thanks for being on the show. Where can people find you?
You can find me at chrisgore.com or follow me on Twitter at @chrisgore.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sweaty Sci-Fi Nerds. Do you want more perspiration, moistness, sweatiness? Click that button. Subscribe, son. Subscribe to theStream.tv for moist activity.